People in the Fever were like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going on around there.
It's a lot. Yeah. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
What kind of things do you feel?
I'm not in the locker room.
Okay.
I'm talking about more social media.
Okay. It's a turn. Right? It's a turn, right? It's really a turn of the tides.
Well, Gil, here's my point. The beginning of the year, right? Everybody saw it.
What if a WNBA legend tried to bury a team's reputation only for them to rise from the ashes and dominate like never before? Picture this. Sheryl Swoopes, a Hall of Famer with 3 MVP trophies, grabs a mic in 2024 and torches the Indiana Fever, calling their locker room a toxic wasteland where no player in their right mind would step foot. Bold words. Problem is, fast forward to today, and Indiana's not just surviving, they're thriving, stacking free agents like it's a Black Friday sale and turning heads across the league. So how did Swoops get it so wrong? And why is Sue Bird, another legend, singing a different tune? Buckle up. This is the story of a franchise that refused to stay down, a rookie who changed everything, and a feud that still got the WNBA buzzing.
What it do, peeps? Sheryl Swoopes is been missing. Sheryl Swoopes is MIA. They got a APB out for Sheryl Swoopes. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, she did a lot of talking a few months ago about the Indiana Fever, the locker room environment, how people didn't want to play there, how people wanted to leave.
Let's rewind to September 2024. Sheryl Swoopes hops on Gilbert Arenas' podcast and unleashes a rant that hits like a sledgehammer. She claims the Fever's locker room is a dumpster fire, hinting that big names, think Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, are itching to bolt. There's a lot going on, she says, voice dripping with certainty. Players are like, this ain't where I wanna be. This isn't some rookie blogger stirring the pot. Swoops is a certified icon, a name etched in basketball history. She doubles down, painting Indiana as a black hole where talent vanishes, and pins some of that chaos on Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom stealing headlines. It's a scorching hot take, and it lands like a match in dry grass. Fans, analysts, everyone's talking, but was she onto something or just tossing gasoline on a fire that didn't exist? Hold that thought, there's more to unpack.
So that takes us to Indiana, which I think everyone agrees right now has gone from, a team that made the playoffs last year, lost in the first round. They were building all these young pieces, of course, Caitlin Clark, to now an immediate contender with all the moves that they've made. I think Natasha Howard certainly stands out. I loved playing with Tosh.
Before Clark ever laced up her Fever jersey, Indiana was a ghost town in the WNBA. Picture empty arenas, losing streaks that stretched for years, and a franchise that couldn't buy a playoff berth. From 2017 to 2023, they racked up just 62 wins against 172 losses, a brutal 26% win rate. Draft picks like Aaliyah Boston in 2023 started turning the tide, but it was slow going. The Fever were the league's forgotten stepchild, a punchline more than a contender. Swoops saw that history and ran with it, figuring Clark's arrival would just amplify the dysfunction. After all, a hyped up rookie with a spotlight brighter than the sun? That's a recipe for jealousy, tension, maybe even a full-on meltdown. Except the script didn't play out like she thought, and that's where things get wild.
But you cannot say enough about
I cannot say enough about Tosh. I really enjoyed playing with her. I think she really is she's just this glue player that doesn't get enough shine for what she does, because a lot of what she does doesn't show up in the box score, but she just is like always in the right place at the right time. And a player like that, I think, complements what Indiana is building.
Enter Caitlin Clark, the Iowa sharpshooter who stormed into the WNBA in 2024 like she owned it. First overall pick, Rookie of the Year, and stats that made jaws drop. 17.1 points, 8.2 assists, and a single-season assist record that left veterans blinking. Indiana went from 13-27 in 2023 to 2020 and a playoff spot in 2024, their first since 2016. Clark wasn't just good, she was electric, draining logo threes, threading impossible passes, and dragging a sleeping giant back to life. But here's the kicker. Swoops didn't see a savior. She saw a problem. A rookie this dominant, this loud, this loved. Surely that'd ruffle feathers, right? Teammates would resent her, free agents would dodge her, and the Fever would implode under the pressure. Except the cracks she predicted never showed up, and that's when her take started unraveling.
So Sue Bird is one of the greatest point guards of all time in the WNBA, and she's someone who obviously is a part owner in the Seattle Storm. So hyping up another team is a bit of a conflict of interest, if we're being honest.
Swoops wasn't done though. She kept swinging, insisting the Fever's core was miserable. On that same podcast, she name-dropped Boston and Mitchell, hinting they'd rather be anywhere else. What happens when Aaliyah ain't playing well again? She mused, suggesting Clark's fanbase would turn on them, piling hate on anyone not keeping up. She even shaded Clark's dominance, scoffing that her 2024 numbers, 4th in MVP voting by the way, weren't all that. Fans smelled something personal here. Was this about Clark stealing the spotlight Swoops once owned? Back in her day, she was the face of the league. 3 MVPs, 6 All-Star nods, a legend. Now, Clark's breaking records Swoops never touched, and maybe that stung. Whatever the motive, her words hung heavy until the Fever punched back in the best way possible.
They obviously, through trade, added Sophie Cunningham, a player that, I would say a 3-and-D type player who has, been to the finals, so has that playoff experience. She's also just tough. She's mentally tough. She's physically tough. She brings an edge to them. And then last but not least, they added DeWanna Bonner, which really I think is the one that for most people took it to another level. So now you're like, oh, they're a contender.
The locker room didn't just hold, it thrived. Aaliyah Boston didn't sulk. She posted goofy TikToks with Clark, laughing through mini golf games and workouts. Kelsey Mitchell, the 7-year vet who'd endured Indiana's darkest days, didn't demand a trade. She stuck around, dropping 19.2 points a game and gushing about Clark's greatness. She's one of the best people I've met, Mitchell said in 2024, grinning like she meant it. Erica Wheeler, the team's heart, laughed off the rumors. All we do is have fun with Caitlin. She's a kid at heart. No leaks, no drama, just a squad that started 1-8, weathered a media storm, and finished 20-20. Swoops' vision of a fractured team crumbled as the Fever danced into the playoffs, united and unbothered. But the real knockout blow, that came in 2025, and it was glorious.
The biggest part of DB joining this team is that she's already played for Steph. So I think that's going to help bridge the gap, because as we go along, we're going to talk about Vegas and Seattle, Atlanta. It's really going to be which
Stephanie
team.
White being the head coach of,
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
Was the head coach of Connecticut, now the head coach of Indiana.
Yeah. So it's really going to be the team that finds their chemistry. This season is short. I mean, they're adding games, but it's still pretty short season.
Still short.
And it's
Still
going to be
just
the
summer.
team that finds chemistry. So having Stephanie White there, having already coached DB, really does help.
Fast forward to free agency, January 2025. Indiana doesn't just sign players, they raid the league like it's a heist. Natasha Howard, a 3-time champ with defensive grit and quiet fire, jumps on board. DeWanna Bonner, a 6'4" matchup nightmare with a silky jumper, ditches Connecticut to join the Fever. Sophie Cunningham, the sharpshooting enforcer who'd scrap with anyone, trades Phoenix for Indy, and Sydney Colson, the vibe-setting vet with 2 rings, signs up too, calling it the most talked-about team in sports. Free agents aren't running from Clark, they're sprinting to her. The Fever's front office, led by Kelly Krauskopf and new coach Stephanie White, builds a contender overnight. Suddenly Swoops' "nobody wants to play there" rant looks like a fever dream, and someone's about to wake her up with cold, hard facts.
3 WNBA MVPs in your career. Would you consider each of those 3 seasons as dominant seasons for yourself?
No.
I can't. Bro, Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin is dominant.
Sue Bird, the voice of reason in a league full of noise. In February 2025, the 4-time champ and Olympic gold medalist steps up and dismantles Swoops' narrative with surgical precision. Indiana's gone from a playoff team with young pieces to an immediate contender, she says, cool as ever. She raves about Howard's glue guy grit, Cunningham's toughness, and Bonner's game-changing versatility. Natasha's always in the right spot, doesn't show up in the box score, but you feel it, Bird notes. And Dawana, that took it to another level. This isn't hype for clicks. Bird's a basketball oracle, part owner of the Seattle Storm, and she's not here to fluff rivals. When she talks, it's gospel. And her verdict, the Fever are legit. Swoops was dead wrong, but that wasn't the whole story.
To you about the experience, the champions that have been added to this one.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what everybody talked about when we were in the playoffs last year of, you know, we really didn't have much experience at all playing in playoff games. I don't know what the exact number was, but we really lacked in that area. So just adding pieces of, you know, players that have been in this league, they know what it takes to win. They know what it takes to get to the finals. They know what it takes to win championships. I think it's exactly what we needed in our locker room. So it's just exciting, but also like they're not only really good basketball players, they're really great leaders and really great people. And I know the front office obviously really prioritized that and looking for the pieces that we wanted to add. So really thankful for that as well.
Clark's pull isn't just about stats. It's galactic. By March 2025, the Fever land 41 of their 44 games on national TV, a schedule so stacked it screams superstar treatment. Ticket sales skyrocket, Gainbridge Fieldhouse is a sellout factory. Jerseys fly off shelves faster than you can say Logo 3. Clark's averaging insane numbers, sure. Projected to chase MVP in 2025, but it's her vibe that's magnetic. She doesn't hog the shine, she spreads it. Howard gets lobs, Bonner gets mismatches, Mitchell gets lanes, everyone eats. Speculation's already swirling. Will she break Diana Taurasi's scoring record? Top Sue Bird's assists? Players see it too. Joining Clark means headlines, highlights, and a shot at history. Swoops missed that wave and it's crashing hard.
I think Caitlin Clark is at that ascension point where she's going to be top of the MVP race. We're going to talk about her in terms of stat leaders later, but the way that the Indiana Fever just made a statement around Caitlin Clark and said like, hey, we're pushing in the chips. We're ready to win now. And Duana Bonner's obviously, you know, the face of the new pieces that have come in. So obviously that's going to be the biggest needle mover in what Drew said. The market has obviously reflected that.
Meanwhile, Cheryl's taking a beating. Fans on X roast her daily. Cheryl told us Indiana was toxic, just a hater, one writes. Another jabs, nailed it again, Swoops, LMAO. Her own words haunt her. Asked on a podcast if her MVP seasons were dominant, she dodges. No, I can't say that. So Clark's 4th place MVP finish as a rookie isn't dominant, but Swoops' own titles aren't either. The math ain't mathing, and people notice. LeBron James even chimes in, telling Esquire, people want to play with her. She's infectious. Ouch. Was this jealousy over Clark's shine? A misread of a team she didn't study? Either way, her cred's fading fast, and the Fever's rise is the loudest rebuttal. But here's the kicker. This isn't just a comeback story.
There's something about the way she plays the game, her passing, her shooting, that people really identify with. So I really feel like we're poised and we're set up for a great, successful next era of Fever basketball.
So while Sue is out here calmly mapping out the Fever's rise,
Indiana's not playing for scraps. They're building an empire. Clark's the supernova, sure, but look around her. Boston's a paint dictator, locking down the post. Mitchell's a slashing assassin, finally free to shine. Bonner's a Swiss Army knife, flipping games on both ends. Howard's the enforcer, quietly wrecking foes. Cunningham's the spark plug, draining threes and starting fires. Colson's the vet who keeps it loose. And Stephanie White, she's the mastermind, a coach who's won titles and knows Bonner's game inside out. This isn't a fluke, it's a blueprint. The Fever aren't knocking on the door, they've kicked it down and claimed a seat at the table. So while Swoops spins tales of chaos, Bird sees the truth. This team's gunning for banners and they've got the pieces to pull it off. What's next? A dynasty? A Clark MVP? One thing's clear, the WNBA's future's unfolding in Indy and the haters are just getting lapped. What do you think? Can they hang that banner? Drop your take below and let's keep this rolling.